Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome back to the channel. My name is Wayne and this is Life Outside Boundaries. If you happen to be new to our channel, my wife Tanya and I quit our full-time jobs, bought a travel trailer, and travel the United States full-time. Today, I'd like to go over with you guys all about solar. In today's video, we're going to discuss how we set up our solar system, products needed, wiring diagrams, power requirements, different type of batteries, 24 volt versus 12 volt systems, etc. First, let's talk about why solar. This may be an obvious question to some, but to others it may not be. The reason why we decided to go with solar is one, because it allows us to get into remote areas as we are right now, and two, when we budgeted to travel full-time for a year, staying at campgrounds at an average of $40–50 a night was not part of our budget. Let's talk about costs associated with solar systems real quick. Solar systems are definitely not cheap. They can be on the lower end. Since we were going to be relying on ours full-time, we chose to choose upper end products, and our total cost for the entire setup was around $3,800. $2,000 of this was just from our batteries alone. The lithium ion Battleborn batteries, 100 amp hours, are $1,000 each. So take that into consideration when thinking about solar. Also, on the back end, think about if you're going to be full-time and say you average $40 or $50 a night, just the 2 months on the road that we've been, we've only spent $35 on a campground. Let's see what that math is. So in the 2 months that we've been on the road, and if we averaged $45 a night at a campground, this would have already brought us to $2,700. So our solar system after 2 months is close to paying itself off, and we're gonna have this thing for years to come. Not only having a good solar system is essential for boondocking like we do, it is also good for weekend getaways if you don't want to stay at campgrounds, and allows you to have free electricity for the weekend. Now that we've discussed some of the benefits of having a solar system, I'd like to start off by going over how we got into our solar system setup as a DIY. This took a lot of research since I have little to none experience with electricity, other than installing subwoofers in high school. There are many helpful videos on YouTube that allowed me to narrow down different components that we needed, different setups that you can have, and power usage and battery bank, etc. However, the wiring diagram was not very clear because there were so many different setups that you could go with: a 12 volt setup, 24 volt setup, AGM, lithium batteries, etc. The combinations are almost endless. So after about a month or two of just watching videos, reading articles, watching diagrams, I was finally able to narrow down which setup would be most ideal for our usage. This happened to be a 24 volt system with 600 watts of power, 3 200 watt solar panels, and 200 amp hours of lithium ion batteries. In order to determine the amount of energy that we would need on a daily basis between her, myself, and the 2 cats that we have that probably don't take up any energy, we took a couple weekend trips and determined how often we turned on the lights, how much we flushed the toilets, how much we ran the water. All of this uses electricity. The fridge uses electricity, although ours can run on propane as well. After a couple weekends out camping and monitoring our electricity usage, we were able to determine that 600 watts and 200 amp hours would be plenty for us. This would last us through the night, and if there was a string of a couple days where it was sunny, this would last us through that as well. The reasons why we chose lithium ion batteries over AGM or lead acid are because these allow you to use 100% of their battery bank. With AGM and lead acid batteries, they only can be depleted up to 50% before sustaining damage to the battery. This would mean we'd have to buy more batteries, take up some of our limited space, and weigh down our camper a lot more than it already is. The reason why we went with a 24 volt system over a 12 volt system is because one, it's a better bang for your buck, two, it allows you to harness more energy with smaller wires, and three, it runs more efficiently. When doing my research, all of these products were pretty much new to me other than the solar panels and batteries. A solar charge controller is what transfers the energy from the solar panels into usable battery energy to charge the batteries. And then the inverter is able to take the stored energy in the batteries and make it usable. Circuit breakers help ensure that if anything goes wrong with your system, you won't blow out the entire thing, and pretty much protects your entire system at the breaker compared to blowing out a battery or your inverter. One important thing with the wires is you need to make sure you have the correct gauge, so you aren't using too small of wires to transfer 2,000 watts of energy, which can cause fires and also reduce the efficiency of your energy. After about my 4 to 5 months of research, I was able to narrow down the specific products that I wanted to use. You can find those down below in our Amazon shop. So after my months of research, I finally ordered all the products that I wanted and then set those aside for another 1 or 2 months. One, I was intimidated with the project. I knew it was going to take some time, and I gave myself a week to do it. I needed to find the time to have a week to be able to spend every day and put it together. I didn't want to work on it on a weekend and then forget about it for the week and then come back on another weekend. So I finally found the time to do it and set it up in our driveway. The specific diagram for wiring that I found online, I will link down below for the website. This was very helpful and probably the key solution that I had to being able to set up our solar system. Another thing that was very helpful was putting everything on a little panel, and we were able to install that panel in our pass-through storage on the roof of it. An optional component to a solar system setup is an ATS. This is an automatic transfer switch which allows you, when you're hooked up to grid power, such as someone's house or at a campground, this allows you to switch your power from the batteries to the grid power. We installed this in our system and we enjoy it a lot. We get to save the battery power and let them charge from the sun while we're using power from the grid. The reason why I wanted to put our solar system on a panel and then drill it to the roof of our pass-through storage was to allow us to save as much space as possible. With this setup, everything is hanging from the ceiling of the pass-through storage, and we still have plenty of room to place stuff underneath. Another thing that I thought was really neat that I did with the batteries is I placed them on little 1x2s to give them space between the ground to keep them ventilated, and in case if water ever gets in there, they won't get wet. And then I put another 1x2 around the perimeter of the batteries so they don't shift around while we're driving. I really hope this video helped with some of the basics of setting up a solar system and helps you make good decisions while setting up your own solar system. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. Now, after setting up the solar system myself, it all came together and made a lot more sense. If this video brought you any value, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. My wife and I are going to have plenty more content coming out about all the beautiful places in America, as well as tips and tricks for camping, boondocking, and full-time RV living. It is our goal to inspire others to chase their dreams, no matter what they are. Get out and live your life. Well, I think this is my 4th or 5th time getting these wires through. First time I forgot to put this junction box on. 20 feet of wires all the way down, all the way back out. Second time I forgot to put these on. Another 20 feet all the way down, all the way back out. Third time I put this thing on. Backwards, of course, so it doesn't screw. So, one more time down the rabbit hole.